JS Films. What's up, guys? So in this video, I'm going to be showing you how you can record live body and face motion capture for your Unreal Engine Metahuman characters. Now, after banging the keyboard for 6 hours, after banging my head on the keyboard for 6 hours, I think I finally found a way to not only connect live motion capture data, but also record it as well. Now, just a disclaimer, I am not affiliated or sponsored by Perception Neuron or Neuron mocap people. It was just the cheapest mocap I could find last year, and I believe it still is for the price point. It wasn't that bad, so this is not an official tutorial is what I'm trying to get at. So this is just something that I was really just trying to figure out because I was getting really frustrated, and I hate it when I can't figure something out. But with the help of Neuron support, I was able to finally get something working. Okay, so with that being said, let's go ahead and enable some plugins. I went ahead and enabled it before starting this video to save some time, but you're going to need Neuron Live Link, which you can find in the marketplace now, and you will need Live Link, which should already be enabled in this project, and you're gonna need Apple AR Kit already, face support, all that stuff is already in there. And I'm also gonna enable dlss. If you don't know how to install this, go ahead and check out the video that I made on how to install this in your Unreal Engine 4. Now this should kind of make things a little bit faster here in my editor. So I'm gonna go ahead and minimize this, and let's do some cleanup. Like always, I'm gonna go ahead and change my camera. We're going to be using the girl now because I know I've been using this guy quite a bit, so I'm going to go ahead and delete him. I'm going to delete this Metahuman sample sequence, and we're just going to do some cleanup. I'm going to go ahead and delete a bunch of cameras here because what's going to happen is I'm going to be running Axis Neuron OBS recording software to screen capture this tutorial and Unreal Engine 4. So I really need to make some room as far as performance here. So I'm going to delete the starting game, and I'm going to go ahead and turn off the post-processing by changing. I'm going to go ahead and change this post-processing to 0 right here, so that should turn it off. And I'm going to go ahead and turn this off right here for blend weight as well. As you can see, it's actually going to turn bright, but it's because the post-processing volume actually controls that brightness here. So, but that's okay. I'm going to go ahead and turn off maybe the key light for now. I'm going to go to visible. If I can find it somewhere right here, I'm just going to turn that off and then save all. And then if you don't see scalability right here, if you go to settings, I know a lot of people ask me, they don't have this right here. If you go to settings, engine scalability, change that to medium for now. We'll see how this goes. And I'm going to change this to show FPS. Now, she is actually a little bit faster as far as performance goes because she doesn't have a lot of hair. So we have everything good. I'm going to go ahead and delete this. I'm going to delete the cameras, and we'll leave it like that. All right, so the next thing we're going to do is hop in Axis Neuron. Now, Axis Neuron is the software that will come with your Perception Neuron suit. Now, this is not the pro version. Like I said, I bought the cheap one, so it only came with the Axis Neuron software, but it still works. I'm going to go ahead and plug the final piece in, which is going to be the gloves. I'm going to go ahead and wear the gloves first, and then I'm going to plug the USB in. I'm going to be tethered. I'm not going to be wirelessly connected because, like I said, I want this to be as fast as possible. So I'm going to be connected via USB instead of wireless. Okay, so just another disclaimer. Whenever you're capturing motion, you technically don't want a lot of electronics around you or anything metallic that can interfere with it. So this is actually a pretty bad place to do motion capture, but I have to do this so I can show you how to do this live for real. So we might get some interference, but we'll see what happens. Okay, so I have the suit plugged in, and I'm going to go ahead and just connect it right here. And I'm going to press connect. Okay, it's telling me that same kind of, please check if the map correctly. Okay, and then it looks like everything is working here. My head's working, and everything is green lidded over here. My fingers work. Right, and I think this is, I was gonna move some stuff around, and man, I'm telling you, once I get enough money, I might actually upgrade to something like a wireless one because the velcros are kind of annoying on this suit, but it works, as you can see. I'm gonna go ahead and move this here so you can see a little bit better. So you can see I'm in my computer. Look at that, the thumb is kind of off, right? It's like bending back. Next thing we're going to do is go to settings in Axis Neuron, go to file, settings. We're going to go to output, make sure displacement is checked off. I think it's on there by default. And go to broadcasting, change it to UDP. Go to BVH, enable, and then look at this client port 7002, and that's what you need. So I'm going to go ahead and go back to Unreal Engine, and hopefully we're not slowing down too much. And this is where that DLSS comes into play. If you look at that right there, the FPS, I'm going to go to DLSS settings and ultra performance. Look at that, 100s. So that's good. That's what we want. Like I said, the quality is going to look bad, but we're just capturing the motion right now. We'll worry about the capture. We will worry about the quality later. Okay, so that being said, I think we are ready to start messing around with some blueprints. So let's go ahead and click on the girl, and we're going to edit the blueprint. I'm going to go ahead and delete this body control rig and the face control rig. We will not need those since we are doing motion capture. So I'm going to go ahead and click on this human. And as you can see, the Metahuman itself, the character is actually made out of different parts. You got the body, face, hair, eyebrows, torso, and so on and so forth. So what we're going to do is actually go to body, and we're going to click on the skeletal mesh right here. All right, so you're going to see the skeletal mesh. I'm going to go ahead and make it bigger so you can see it better. All right, and then we're going to go to the skeleton because this is pretty important stuff here. And we're going to work on the preview mesh is going to be the female, this right here. I don't know what else. I think female, medium, something, but that's the skeleton we're going to be working with. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to select a rig and choose humanoid. Now this is only working perfectly because the metahumans have the same exact bone structure as the UE4 mannequin, and obviously that's because Epic Games created Unreal Engine 4. It's the same people. So this is fantastic news that it shares the same bone system. That's why it's a little bit easier to do this as far as retargeting animations. Now, if you go to skeleton tree, I don't know if you have to do this, but this is just good practice to do anyway. I'm going to go ahead and change everything to skeleton, and I'm going to go ahead and change everything to skeleton, just all the way down. The only animation should be the first two, the root and the pelvis, and I'm going to go ahead and save that. Now, for this to work, axis neuron or perception neuron takes a T-pose. And as you can see, that's going to be a problem because if you look at our pose, I don't know what pose that is, but that's not a T-pose. If you're running into that issue, you can always just modify, reset, and then just modify again and use current pose so that you're actually back in an A pose, which is better than whatever the heck dinosaur, T-Rex. I think that was a T-Rex pose. Copyright that, T-Rex pose. All right, I'm going to go to character, bones, all hierarchy, so we can see the bone system here. And what we're going to do is actually put this guy in a T-pose, not a T-Rex pose, an actual T-pose. So I'm going to go do a rough T-pose on this dude. Now, you can really get fancy with it and, you know, match the T-pose with the fingers and stuff. But for the sake of this tutorial, I'm going to go ahead and leave it like that. That looks like a T. And what we're going to do is do a create asset, create animation, and current pose. Now, big thanks to Noidum because this was the last piece that I was really missing, and the support guys really helped me out. So create animation, current pose, and we're going to name this T-pose. Press OK, and that's going to create an animation. I'm just going to go ahead and leave it as is. I'm going to go ahead and pause it because that's annoying. Save it. And then what we're going to do is go to the blueprint for this skeleton. And we're going to be unplugging some stuff here. Now, this is the traditional pose for this character, but we don't need that because we're actually going to be using an actual motion capture live link. So we're going to go ahead and make this smaller. We're going to find that T-pose that we just created. Go to content, and we're going to go ahead and type in pose. And it should be all the way at the bottom right here, T-pose. We're going to drag and drop that to the animation blueprint. And then I'm going to go squiggly, live, link pose. And I'm going to go ahead and connect this to the out pose, compile. All right, and in the drop down here, whenever we connect our actual axis neuron, we're going to be able to choose our character here. Now, another very, very super important part of this process is if you click on this live link pose, there is a retarget asset. Now, there is a live link remap asset. There is a Miximo old live link remap asset. There's a Neuron live link asset. But what we want is actually the UE mannequin live link. So, if you don't remember, I said earlier that the metahuman bone structure shares the same exact name, file type, and hierarchy as the UE4 mannequin. So we are actually able to use this preset instead of having to retarget all the bones to the metahuman. We can just use this here, that perception neuron people included in their plugin, which is super sweet. So I'm going to go ahead and compile and save, and I'm going to go ahead and minimize. And I'm going to save all. So I'm going to go ahead and remove this post here so to clear it out a little bit. And what we're going to do now is actually connect our Axis neuron. So after changing the settings in Axis neuron, all we have to do is actually go here and type that 7002 that I showed you guys earlier, and your character is going to show up here on the left. All right, and the next thing we're going to need to do is actually go to that BP Metahuman. Again, go to the skeletal mesh, go to the blueprint, click on this drop down, select that character, compile, and save. And now you can see, aside from my finger, which is kind of messed up, look at that. Now we're actually moving that character, that skeleton. So I'm going to go ahead and compile and save. And like I said, you can mess around with the fingers more if you want, but for the sake of this tutorial, you know, I'm showing you that it's working. So I'm going to go ahead and minimize this, and as you can see, it's going to start slowing down here in a second. I'm going to go ahead and move this here. All right, so obviously this girl is not moving yet. Well, that's because we still have to add a couple of things. So if we go to the BP human, we have to add a component, and we're going to call this live link skeletal animation. And now, as soon as you do that, we are now, I'm going to go ahead and move this. We are now controlling this girl with the head, because I have the head strap and everything. You know, I can even maybe try and dab. Okay, that finger is, I think there's just maybe the thumb is a little bit messed up. It's probably the naming. There's probably a different thumb that I chose. But I'm going to try and see if I can find that thumb. I'm going to go to the skeleton. And if I go to show bone names, I think, oh gosh. And if you're really slowing down here, thanks to Style Marshall right here, click on the animation notifies instead of animation curves, because that's going to speed up your skeleton view. So if you look at the thumb right here, thumb 1R, thumb 2R, and thumb 3R. So those are the thumb bones. So now I need to pull up a UE4 skeleton now, because I'm going to go ahead and minimize this. And I'm going to try and see if I can pull one up. I'm going to go to view options, content. I'm going to try and add one. I'm going to try to add a third person character here. Add features or content pack. And we're going to do a third person character, because this is going to bring some UE4 mannequin skeleton here. So if we go here, so I'm going to go to blueprints, third person character. Now this guy's going to have a skeleton as well, or he should. Go to his mesh, go to this mesh, go to the skeleton. And now if we look at these bones, bones. Okay, yeah, so that's why. You see that? The thumb starts right here, 1, 2, and 3. But if we look at our person here, the skeleton for her starts right here. So I actually need to remove thumb 01R and just make it 2 and 3, okay? Kind of see where I got that from? So what you're going to have to do is actually change the live link remap asset, and I'm going to show you how to do that as well. So you have all the tools here. So if I go to make sure you have engine content, plugin content enabled, if I go right here and I type in Neuron, we're going to actually go in that folder, right? So just be careful when you mess around with this here. This is the live link remap asset, the UE4. So since this is pre-made, the bones that I showed you guys is not lining up correctly. So for you, if you really want to take care of those thumbs, you're going to have to do a manual remap reset. And basically, you're going to have to say, you know, what's the hips? What are the name of the hips right here? You can enter it. Pretty much do this thing entirely to fix that thumb. Okay? I mean, it's doable, but it's just, you know, a couple of nodes you have to kind of rename. So if I go hips, all right, so hips is going to be hips. But the problem is the thing that you're going to change is pretty much the thumb right here. Thumb 1 is actually thumb 2. You know what I'm saying? So you have to do that here. Compile and save. And then once you do all of that, you go back to the BP. And if you go back to the blueprint, you go back to this. the manual map reset is going to be right there. If you saved it in another name, you can choose that right here, and it's going to work just the same, but with the fixed hands and thumb. Okay, so I know that took forever, but I just have to show you that so you know how to fix it. Because right now, I'm not going to go through all of those just to kind of fix a thumb, to be honest. All right, because we got a lot more stuff to do. So let's go ahead and save this. I'm going to go ahead and minimize it. And as you can see here, if I put back my live link component here, not Liove, live link component, you're going to see that we are back. Okay? Actually, it is a little bit better. So, I mean, whenever you're making like a mocap, just hide the thumb, you know? Just throw gang signs or something. Hey, what's up? You know? But overall, it looks pretty good. And that's just the lighting. The shadow on her head, because we're in scalability is medium, so that's pretty bad. Okay, so now we have the head going. Now we have to add the facial, right? So to do that, it's easy. I'm going to go ahead and turn on my app here. And if you don't know how to do this from scratch, I made a tutorial. It's going to be at the very end of this video. There is going to be video end screen that I'm going to show you guys. I'm going to go ahead and turn on the live link face, and I have that on. And what I'm going to have to do is actually move this microphone here in a second, okay? Because it's covering my mouth, so I'm probably going to sound further away, but that's okay. And as you can see, as soon as I turned on that iPhone live app on my phone, it'll show up right here as Hachu. Hachu is my phone name. Okay, so to turn that on, all we have to do is go to the BP Metahuman, choose Hachu, and then turn this on. Okay, and then I'm gonna make sure that everything is good. I got Hachu. Yep, that's correct. All right, and this is actually where it was just crazy. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and save as. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and do some cleanups real quick. I'm gonna go ahead and just go back to our content asset here, so it's a little neat. But as you can see, if I go ahead and simulate this, simulate. Here we go. We're together. You with me? I'm with you. Okay. Cool. Okay. Punch. Okay. Tickle. All right. So we're good, right? So now the hardest part that I ran into was actually recording this thing. So let's go ahead and do that. All right. So it crashed for a second. So I'm back now. Let's go ahead and double check, make sure everything is good. I'm not sure what got deleted. So let's go ahead and move her back to the front here. And I have the AR connected. My phone is on. So Axis Neuron is broadcasting, so that's good. I'm going to go to the BP Metahuman and add a live link again. Skeleton. And now we should be good. See the head. Go to auto activate, so that's good. And then we're going to go to the body. We're going to change this to blueprint. And now that should change it. I'm going to press G to get rid of those balls. I'm going to go back to the character. Go to root. Change to Hachu. Link the face to the head. And everything should be back to normal. And it looks like we're over budget again, because it crashed. So pool size 600. Let's just do it to that, and that should get rid of that. So now we have that going. We have the live link going, auto activate. Body is set to blueprint. Face is set to blueprint. You double click the skeletal mesh, the blueprint. Make sure that this is selected here. Hachu, link, face, head. So that's good. All right, so the next thing we're going to do is I'm going to try it again. I'm going to click on the girl, sequence recorder. I'm going to delete everything in there. And I'm going to go ahead and add her and then press record. Okay? Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Now, before I start acting here, I want to make sure the body is set to blueprint and the face is also set to the blueprint. So that's good. So let's try this. Blah, blah. Hey, what's up, guys? So finally, I think I got it to work. I mean, obviously, the whole hand thing is not there yet because the physics are not correctly set. And like I said, the thumbs are kind of messed up and looks like the index fingers as well. But that's an easy fix. But really what I want to know is, can we record live via the motion capture and whatever? And I just really screwed that take up. So let's go ahead and press stop. And then what I'm going to do now is just hide this because this is the original. And I'm going to go ahead and remove our live links. and I'm going to go ahead and hide this person. Go to the BP, and I'm going to do actor hidden. And we're going to go to content browser, cinematics, sequences, recorded sequence is going to go to that sequence that we just recorded. All right, and if you go in here, you're going to see that the mouth is moving like it should. And you're going to see that there are 4 or 5 different recording for the torso, body, and face, and so on and so forth. So this is where it got really frustrating, but let's see if I can repeat what I did earlier. And I'm going to go ahead and turn my phone off and move the mic back up. I'm going to go ahead and unhide our original human. I'm going to add her to the sequencer that we just created. I'm going to delete the control rig. Okay. And then what I'm going to do is go track animation, and we're going to select one of those recorded animations. And I'm going to try 001. I think, let me go ahead and see instead of just trying. The name for the body is 001, so I had it right anyway. See, I knew I had it right the whole time. Okay, but as you can see, nothing is happening. Okay, and this is, again, was very, very frustrating. All right, so what you're going to do is pretty much go to, I'm going to go ahead and delete this animation. And I'm going to delete that human again. And I'm going to drag and drop a new one. I'm going to delete this one from the world outliner. I'm going to delete the original, and it's loading right now. And we're going to grab a new one. Okay. Bring it up. X. Okay. Get in position. And then what we're going to do is track this new human. Delete the control rig. Then we're going to go to body. Track animation 001. So you can see nothing is moving again. But if I click on here, click on the body, and I choose blueprint, and I choose female, there you go. See? It's moving. Right? And what I'm going to do is I'm going to make it longer so we can see the entire animation here. There you go. Moving with a hand. And I'll zoom in. Do a little wrap thing going on. Showing you the fingers, how jacked up they are, but that's okay. Okay, so the actual body is in there. Now we have to move the head. Okay? So the body animation is there. So for the face, I'm going to delete the control rig. Track, animation, this. And now if I press play, okay? Now you're going to have both hand animation and face animation recorded live with the Live Face app and Axis Neuron. Alright, like I said, guys, this might not be the official way to do this, but it's for now, it's just kind of like a workaround. Alright, so if you're still having problems, if that method didn't work out, try this. Go back to the content browser, pretty much where you recorded that sequence with the facial mocap and the body mocap together, and open that up. And I'm going to go ahead and, because what it does is it creates another version. So I'm going to go ahead and hide this one, because the one that it recorded is actually down here. So you should end up with something like this, with like really weird, just eyes and mouth movements, but not really body movements. So start playing around here, okay? So if we go to like maybe 001, mess around with this. If we go to the animation mode, go to like blueprint again, and then go to that. Okay, so it doesn't work, right? So go 001 again, just go to 1. And what you can do is blueprint, there and like keyframe that right here. Okay. And as you can see, it's going to change it back. As soon as I go left, like I said earlier, it's going to change it back to custom mode. So what you can do is maybe go right here, change it again, and just mess around with it here. Change it there. And I'll change it to custom mode here. You see that? That's just really weird. I mean, the neck is messed up right now because this is not the original recording, but try that. Try that. See if you can make that work by just doing that right there. Basically creating a couple of blueprint keys and then switch it to custom mode, like somewhere. So I mean, it doesn't have to be in the specific times here. You know, I can move it right here, and as you can see, it's gonna start moving here properly. Not crazy. It's a little crazy, but try it that way. So that's just two methods that you can mess around with until we get the official tutorial from Unreal Engine 4 and Neuron company. If you guys have any questions, let me know, and please do let me know if this works for you, because I want to know if it's just on me. Really, technically, it doesn't work unless you guys get it to work. So I'll see you guys later.